Hi everyone, I am Maddie Fortham and I'll be doing some questions for Pieces of April. So the first question was, how do you perceive the use of processed and homemade foods in the film's narrative? So there was a really big kind of stress, especially in the beginning of the film, versus homemade food and store-bought, specifically when April goes to her neighbor's apartment and is getting help and she's putting the cranberry sauce canned into a bowl and she's having a conversation with the male figure in this house. And she actually says that she prefers it from the can. And he just looks at her and says, nobody prefers it from the can. It is always better homemade. And there is a certain, um, when she goes to receive help, there's a certain kind of love that she's given that is also put into that homemade food. And the store bought food kind of has like a lack there of that. So the second question was, how does the film fit into Stern's discussion of the seasons and narrative conventions? So this film overall was a satire with a few drops of tragedy in there too. And it actually aligned with one of Stern's biggest examples because this movie was all about Thanksgiving and all of the societal rituals and values that go along with that holiday. Um, Normally these things are getting together with family, eating a big meal, having like those nice holiday positive attitudes, and which kind of wasn't the case for this family until um, the very end. And then how could the family dynamic be described in relation to general concepts of food? So this family, specifically the mother, was constantly trying to pick up snacks or go out to eat instead of facing her daughter in the Thanksgiving meal that was waiting for them. And it just it showed how much April's mother did not want to be there and kind of how she was using all this store-bought food to kind of make those feelings a bit less because she was using another reason to halt having dinner with April. And yet the father, on the other hand, was trying to keep everybody in line and saying, no, you guys need to keep your appetite. April's been making dinner for us. Um, and April's mother was just intentionally spoiling her appetite throughout the whole movie. So, what is the aesthetic style of the film? This was kind of hard for me. The thing I could relate to the most would be realism, kind of used in like paintings and such. It wasn't like many movies I had seen before. It wasn't carefully lighted. There weren't props that were the movie was not made to look normal. It was made to be normal, to be relatable and understandable. It showed struggles, and in most movies, you see struggles, yet they like in this movie, you could see there was a struggle of income. There was probably a struggle of substance abuse. There was you saw all of that, and it was very real and not set up to be nice. Um, can this film be considered a food film? Pieces of April is most definitely a food film because food. This Thanksgiving meal is such a relevant part of this, and the food itself has many different meanings in this movie besides just the actual meal. Um, because uh, the food and April's problems actually go hand in hand because every single time that something goes wrong with her food, something goes wrong in her personal life, or something goes wrong in her family's personal life. There was always a really easy trade off between something happening with the food and then something happening with the family. And so it's definitely a food film. Yeah. And food also in this case, it entertains character development. It's what's pushing the plot along and it's what's bringing people together. And so this is definitely a food film. Um, yeah. And so those are my answers and have a great day.